Good morning and welcome Trinidad and Tobago to AM Prime here on WESN. I am Nikolai Edwards. Now, yesterday, one of the things that I noticed was the Ministry of Public Administration hosting a Public Service Week Expo and Career Fair. And it was really set at the Hyatt Regency, Trinidad and Tobago, where it gave persons an opportunity to learn about new services, online programs and career opportunities from government ministries, divisions and agencies. So that took place from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. And personally, I'm annoyed that I didn't get the opportunity to go because I completely forgot about it. And I think that this is such a good opportunity really to just understand what is being offered, because many a times, and I'm sure that many of you looking on right now could relate to this, that from the time you see a job being advertised by a ministry or some state agency, you say, it doesn't make sense. I apply, somebody inside already getting that work, somebody cousin or their friend or whatever it is. And that's generally the attitude that we have toward these things, because we've seen year after year that nepotism and, people follow these things of posting in the press, the jobs advertising it, all of that for formality. And people are very distrusting of the public service because they believe very much that there can be a number of changes, you can implement a lot more technology, and especially for young people, the public service is just so archaic. That's the impression that a lot of people get. But I do see some attempts are being made to seriously change how people perceive the public service. I know recently we would have seen an appointment to, I believe it was the office of Deputy Chairperson of the Public Service Commission. So that is showing that, yes, it's still working. There are still people there. New persons who have experience are coming in. But we need to see a lot more technology being involved in that process. So from the time that you apply to the public service, in my personal view, what I've really assessed over the years, you should be able to upload your information on a website, the Public Services website, and there be able to track the progress of your resume or your CV. So if it is that someone is able to check it, so it has been reviewed, it has been recommended, it is here, it is there, whatever the case is. And you should be assigned at least a number, national employee or public service application ID number, and you can be able to track that through. And this way, even if you're applying for jobs in the public service moving forward, it should never be a case where you have to re-upload your resume at any point in time. Your full employment history as it relates to being in the public service, I think, should be made available to HR persons within the various ministries and state agencies and so forth. And it makes it a lot more efficient moving forward. Of course, what do I know? I'm just someone who, just like everyone else, looks on and is hopeful that things will get by. But also, I push for these things and present solutions. So who knows? Maybe someone listening on at some point can come forward. I know that the Ministry of Digital Transformation as well has been assisting greatly, not just the Ministry of Public Administration, but I've seen the Ministry of Education and a number of other ministries in really getting things moving. So if we see a forward trend, because one of my greatest concerns had been coming after the COVID-19 pandemic, that fear of us returning to where we once were. The new normal really had to be the order of the day. It could not have been a reversal. And I just feel as though in some cases we are taking a few backward steps because we feel as though we can revert to the way things were before the COVID-19 pandemic. But the fact is the population has changed, at least mentally in most cases, and we want to see something different. We're clamoring for it, we're calling for it, and I think more importantly, we've been prepared for it for a number of years, and it's just for policymakers or legislators, the government, to be able to really fulfill the hopes, wishes, and dreams of the population as a whole. But we'll see how things progress. Folks, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to be talking about a program that's nestled within the Ministry of Youth, and it's really geared toward young people, helping them to achieve some things that they probably may not have been able to achieve, or would have taken a lot longer to achieve had it not been for the support and the assistance of the Ministry of Youth in collaboration with a number of other ministries. But we'll be right back. Stay with us. This is AM Prime.
What's the best way to grab the attention of viewers?
Please exercise more patience. You have to be kidding me.
Doing what we do best.
I'll say at the very least it's a conspiracy of laziness against the people.
Join me, Keaton Shaw.
And me, Sean Michael Small, for Talking Point.
Weekdays from 8 a.m. to 9:30 a.m.
We go in depth on the trending issues and engage the most controversial newsmakers
as we get them to account to the people for their actions.
You can't go to the government with nothing. You can't go to cabinet with an empty hand, with a wish.
I'm glad that we're having this a sober, mature discussion.
In the present situation, I expect a continuation of the chaos.
Join us for the discussion, Mondays to Fridays,
only on WESN,
the content capital.
You all have bombarded me on social media, you all have messaged on my phone, you all have constantly sent me text, emails, and so forth to invite this next guest.
It's the mother of all episodes. Join Sule Joseph as he chats with Dr. Winnet Joseph,
AKA my mother, AKA the grandchildren demander.
Don't miss this all-new episode of Sight, Thursday 22nd June at 11 a.m. Only on WESN Content Capital.
Ridiculous.
The issue, the continued rise in the price of flour and its impact on the cost of living in Trinidad and Tobago. How should we go about it? I want to ask you what has been revealed to you about the state of vulnerability in the country because of this exercise and because of what we're going through. Is the government losing the war on the vaccine front?
The discussion should revolve around the common good for the greatest number of people in Trinidad and Tobago.
How do we inculcate a sense of respect and regard for people who may not be of your own political ilk or persuasion?
The communities are now being used by political opportunists. So
when the tables are turned, it's the same way. Okay, this has been 10 questions. I'm Andy Johnson, and we'll see you next time.
Is it politics? What is it? Is it that nobody cares about sports?
The kind of support that sport used to get in the past is no longer here.
The thing is, taking a knee doesn't mean that that's the only thing you're doing now, Andy.
Right.
Taking a knee along with other stuff.
Samantha, what are you looking forward to when you return home to Trinidad and Tobago after winning the title?
Thank you very much for speaking it into existence.
Is there no pressure on Nicholas Ball?
It makes me more motivated to work hard and to go out there and rep the red, white and black.
Why are we sending a team to the Winter Olympics?
There are a number of Trinidadians who are in the diaspora and have grown up in winter sport. It's an opportunity that the Trinidad and Tobago Olympic Committee will not close the door on.
I also believe in the players that we have. Once you can motivate the players, you can get the best out of them.
People really want to know, what about me? Where do I fit? Yes. What is in the ride for me in terms of a better Trinidad and Tobago? And I'm pleased to shed some light on that.
The purpose of bail is to ensure your attendance at court. That's it. It is not punitive. It is not rehabilitative.
We, the police officers, we are professional, and we are here for whenever the survivor is ready to come forward.
We have the right to private and family life, the right to religious freedoms and beliefs and thoughts and expression. But these rights are not absolute. Certain rights can be limited.
The law is to govern the whole. It's for all of us in public.
Young at heart, purpose-driven, patriot even. When you like to party, but are still passionate about discussing important issues, the only place where your needs will be met is WESN Content Capital.
people really want to know, what about me? Where do I fit?
Yes.
What is in the ride for me in terms of a better Trinidad and Tobago? And I'm pleased to shed some light on that.
The purpose of bail is to ensure your attendance at court. That's it. It is not punitive, it is not rehabilitative.
We, the police officers, we are professional, and we are here for whenever the survivor is ready to come forward.
We have the right to private and family life, the right to religious freedoms and beliefs and thoughts and expression. But these rights are not absolute. Certain rights can be limited.
The law is to govern the whole, it's for all of us in public.
Welcome back to AM Prime. Now, if you've ever thought about agriculture as being a pathway for you to become successful, to earn an income, or really to be the foundation for your family life moving forward, then this program may be of interest to you. Well, the Ministry of Youth Development and National Service recently graduated its Level 1 members of the Youth Agriculture Homestead Program. And to talk a bit more about this project and its benefits to the young people who have been signing up for it and who will in the future, because it's an ongoing program, I am joined with by two persons from the ministry, and they are project coordinator at the Ministry of Youth Development and National Service, Gashel Giles-Edwards, and we also have technical agriculture coordinator of the Ministry of Youth Development and National Service, Kelly Silal Sanka. Good morning, ladies, and welcome to AM Prime. So we are talking about, I think, a very important thing here, and it's providing opportunities for young people. Many young people across the country feel as though there aren't sufficient opportunities for them to grow and to develop, and especially in areas that may be non-traditional or not mainstream. But we've seen some attempts by the ministry to really and truly change that narrative, to offer more. Could you tell us a bit more about this project and how it came about, its intentions more or less? And I'll go to you, Gashel.
Okay, so thanks again, Nikolai, for that question, and good morning to your viewers. The government of Trinidad and Tobago has certainly made a policy decision to provide alternative type career opportunities for young persons not only become job seekers, but also become job creators. And through the Ministry of Youth Development and National Service, a suite of programs has been designed for persons between the ages of 18 to 35, and one such of those suites would be youth and agriculture programs. So the youth in agriculture programs comprise currently of the youth agricultural homestead program, the youth shade house program, and the youth aquaculture program. And we are here today to speak about the youth agricultural homestead program. This homestead program is like a social intervention program. And this social intervention program is addressing multiple social issues that we are facing as a country and even as a region. So many young persons have an interest in agriculture, and many young persons don't have an interest in agriculture. And we have designed a program to target the reasons for them to have an interest and the reasons for those with an interest to have the necessary technical and financial resources to execute that set interest, entrepreneurial interest, economic interest. So the Youth Agricultural Homestead Program is providing these young persons with a 2-year training opportunity. This training is being delivered by the University of Trinidad and Tobago, ECIAF, which is located in Centennial. And this program is providing them with 2 acres of land, a starter home, and a startup grant upon the completion of their 2-year intensive agricultural training.
And I noticed that 168 young persons would have graduated from the program recently. So that's 168. What were the numbers like in terms of the amount of persons applying? Because I would imagine something like this, it will be highly sought after. Was there an oversubscription of persons in the first instance?
Oh, yes, certainly. So we initially got 1,400 applications when we went out for our full-time program, which commenced in June of last year. And with that overwhelming response, the ministry sought approval to implement a part-time program. So now we also, in order to meet the need, also have a part-time program that is running concurrently, and it started in February of this year. So, as you indicated, we had 168 graduates at our recent graduation held at government campus. It is only natural that we have attrition. Regrettably, one of our participants actually passed away in March of this year. So, those 168 graduates will be moving on to the second phase of the program, and we are totally on board and excited to usher in them, the full 168, to the completion of the second phase, so that they can receive their resources and begin their farming.
Understood. Now, I know that we have a video, and it would have been from the graduation ceremony. I'm not sure if we can get that up here. Yes, so we're going to jump to that video before we, and after that we'll come to you, Kelly, because I want to find out a bit more about the agriculture and what we're seeing in terms of young people's interest or excitement in that area. But let's take a look at that video from the graduation ceremony held recently.
Future farmers were able to successfully cultivate food over the past year, which allowed them to be introduced to new and existing technologies, techniques, and practices. Today, in recognition of their achievement of these young men and women who are beneficiaries of the technical and financial resources afforded to them by the state, we are here to establish their accomplishment in the completion of Level 1.
The biggest barrier for youth in agriculture is the access to land. The capital is something that you just don't have until much later on in life. So this is a perfect program to get more youth into agriculture. And while the outside world would say, getting land, we are getting this land for free, we know it didn't come cheap. We sacrificed time away from our families, lost income in our businesses, and some of us even left full-time employment to pursue a dream that will not only benefit ourselves and our immediate families, but also our nation.
Get your produce out, make the sacrifice, and ensure that you put your produce out in the market. You'll get it sell, you can buy a house, you can get married, buy a nice pickup. Don't buy no car. Don't buy no car, buy a nice pickup, so the pickup will work for you.
This program has been well articulated and publicized as a program designed to provide opportunities for interested young persons to prosper through the development of experience and expertise in agri-entrepreneurship. Its benefits include the building of personal and family wealth, alongside the acquisition of housing and the security that comes with that. This itself includes the acquisition of 2 acres of fertile land for each successful applicant. From an initial enrollment of 200 participants, a total of 168 participants will graduate from this first cohort. This will allow them to take their places in the second year of the program, which essentially means that you will be able to move on to acquire your 2-acre parcel and get into the practical aspect of the program. The Land Settlement Agency is poised to facilitate the development of infrastructure on lands located at Chatham Dairy Farm, Carlisle Estate in Chatham, La Gloria Estate in Princestown, and Chambers Estate in Talparo. So as we look forward to the next phase, in what by all means of food security and Millennial Development Goal agenda item, let me once more challenge you participants to stay the course. The nation's future, our sense of comfort, stability, and security depend on your efforts in this regard.
And then we saw some video footage from the graduation ceremony, which took place on the 6th of June. So that would have been recently. Now, in terms of agriculture, we've been constantly talking about the need for investment in agriculture, agriculture as being a viable pursuit for entrepreneurs and as a means of income generation and so forth. But Kelly, I want to find out from you, as being the technical agriculture coordinator, what's different this time around? What this approach is expected to really bear compared to, let's say, many a times where we've tried to involve young people in agriculture and so on. How can we distinguish this program?
So basically, I think youth in agriculture is very important. YAP in particular, it covers general agriculture. So basically at the University of Trinidad and Tobago, they have been being taught both theory and practical, heavily practical training. So we all know agriculture is a more practical approach. And yes, I've been on the ground with these youths and they are very, very excited about this entire program. We know that they will have access to land. They are getting stipend based on attendance of these classes. They are also getting access to starter homes. Again, in the teaching, they will be exposed to all forms of agriculture, so a little bit of everything, even touching on apiculture, crop production, livestock production, agro-processing, agro-commodity utilization, and even communications. So it is important, again, once for youth to be injected into this sector. I think they will bring an innovative approach while also incorporating traditional methods of farming.
And of course, the income generating aspect, because these things to maintain and so forth, you're really building in people's minds how to take care of themselves, their family, how to start up the next generation and so on. But in terms of, let's say we're walking through that process, they've had the land, they have started implementing the practices that they have learned during this journey. Is it expected that, you know, these would be individuals who will be selling to manufacturers, selling at some of the nation's markets and so forth? So they may be coming up with products that are now going to be entering the market. Are those some of the things that could really evolve from this program?
Yes, so at the University of Trinidad and Tobago, they are actually doing practical training. So they have a wide knowledge on how to plant. So basically when they go on their land, not only planting, but rearing of animals. When they go onto the land, they will be planting different crops. So basically it will be crops that are in high demand, that are utilized every day, such as bygone pimentos, just to name a few. And yes, also they will be supplying to market. They will have, you know, their own little social medias that they will be advertising on as well. And yes, so different areas like this.
Okay. And Geishal, in terms of the, because you mentioned that this is now introducing a part-time program, could you make the distinction for us to understand what's the difference between the full-time program and the part-time program that is about to come on stream?
So before we identify the difference in the part-time and the full-time program, I wanted to chime in to indicate that the National Entrepreneurial Development Company, NEDCO, has been working alongside these young persons and providing them with intensive training to develop the entrepreneurial skill set so that they can either form cooperatives or they can, as individuals, who would have these 2 acres, employ their skills and resources to be able to supply directly to the hoteliers, to supermarkets, to other government agencies who may require fresh produce. And we have also been in the process of, you know, doing a lot of networking with ADB and other organizations, NAMDEVCO, to give them the market intelligence, to give them the marketing skills, so that they have insight into what is required locally and what is required regionally, so that we are actually doing a supply-based farming approach, a demand-based farming approach, so that we have given these young persons all of the insights, and we will continue to give them. It's not as though when they get on the lands, we won't be there. We would be there, and we would have a monitoring and evaluation unit there to continue to walk them along this process. In addition, on the farms itself, they have a 5-acre plot that will be identified for a master farmer. And that master farmer will continue to provide extension services in addition to all of the various government agencies that we would have identified and other NGOs who have always been reaching out to non-government agencies and private sector agencies reaching out to do partnership and to continue to provide this hand-holding approach to this program. So on the note of the part-time program, the part-time program, as I said, it started in February of this year, took on similarly 200 persons, and this program is being delivered on weekdays after working hours between 5 and 8 p.m. and on Saturdays and Sundays, these young persons are committing their days, their early mornings into physically preparing themselves for this humongous task to ensure that our region and our country is food secure. They actually go in physically to the Centeno ECIAF facility at Centeno on Saturdays and Sundays. It's quite rigorous.
Okay. And so therefore the first or the full-time program, persons would be expected not to be working or so on, so that they are involved in classes, they are giving all of their time more or less to the program as if they were going to school, full-time, part-time. That would be really where we would see a distinction, but they're being given the same kind of knowledge, the same kind of experience, the same kind of know-how. Just wanted to confirm that.
Yes.
Yes. So basically, it's the same. Sorry.
Excellent. Go ahead, Desha.
So basically, it's the same knowledge. The difference only is, as Ms. Edwards would have mentioned, basically it would be theoretically will be virtually on weekdays, and we'll have the more practical training on weekends. They will be also doing the same NADCO training and as well as NAMDEFCO training, where they will be exposed to packing house operation and good agricultural practices.
Okay,
so it will be the same thing.
Now, I am very excited by this. I mean, just hearing all of this information, it makes me wonder why I didn't sign up for it. But clearly, this started last year, the full-time one, and then we saw earlier this year, there would have been the part-time. Is it expected that the ministry is going to, on an annual basis, be taking on another cohort, or is it expected, especially when it comes to, let's say, full-time, every 2 years, because that's how long the program is going to run for level 1 and level 2, if I am correct. So I just wanted to find out if persons can look forward to an annual intake so that they know I wasn't able to get in this year, I'm now aware of the knowledge, can I wait for next year and hopefully get in?
So actually, we have just completed the application period for our second cohort, for cohort 2. And the Cabinet approved evaluation committee is in the process of evaluating the applications that we would have received for persons interested in cohort 2. But outside of this, I would also like at this point in time to indicate to you that we have been partnering with key agencies to assist with this application process, I would say, slash evaluation process. So in terms of the application process, we have been partnering with NALIS, who has been providing opportunities to persons throughout Trinidad and Tobago who do not have access to the internet or a digital device to apply to our programs, because in Maine, our applications are submitted electronically. However, we also allow the persons to drop in at a safety deposit box at the ministry's head office. So that's one of our partners. And secondly, in our evaluation process, we have partnered with the Trinidad and Tobago Police Services for them to identify 10 young persons who are currently in their Trinidad police youth clubs. To be a part of this program, we see the importance of partnering with agencies such as these to address issues such as juvenile delinquency and our crime situation and so forth. We've also partnered with another department in the TTPS called the Victim and Witness Support Unit, who have also submitted names, because we truly understand that persons who have been victims or witnesses of crime, especially be it members of their close family members or the income generator within their family, they are more inclined and more susceptible to becoming, also offenders. So we've partnered with them to identify persons as well, 5 persons, to participate in this highly subscribed program, as we discussed before. And obviously, our main ministry, who is like a joint collaborator in this program, the Ministry of Agriculture, they have also submitted names, guided by obviously the selection criteria for persons to apply and for persons to participate, in this program. Now, those special requests are in the amount of 30, I believe, and 30 to 35, if I'm not mistaken. And the additional persons, the 170 persons thereabouts, will be coming from our application pool, which again was in excess of 1,400 persons. Yeah.
I think this is very exciting. I'm honestly, I want to encourage a lot of people to look into it. And I noticed that some of the forms of recognition at the graduation ceremony, they would have been valedictorians, but also there was a top student for livestock technology, crop technology 1 and 2, agro-processing and agro-commodity utilization, introduction to farm management. You had a leadership award, entrepreneurship award, Excellence in Technology Award, and a Civic Mindedness Award. So what that indicates to me is that you are really building a holistic citizen, getting the experience of using technology, agriculture rather, as a means of progress, and being able to recognize individuals for the moves that they're making in these areas. I mean, kudos to the Ministry of Youth Development and National Service. I want to allow you any final thoughts that you want to share with viewers who might be interested, who also partners, because we do have corporate Trinidad and Tobago whom we'll be looking on right now and hearing of the program, whether it's for the first time or getting a double take at it and wanting to partner. But any information that you want to share with viewers finally?
Sure. So I definitely welcome all persons who have an interest in this program to definitely reach out to the Ministry of Youth Development and National Service. You can reach out to myself as the head of the program implementation unit, or to our PS, Mr. Farouk Hossain. And the ministry's information is available on our website, www.mydns.gov.tt. But this program, as I said, is definitely a flagship program that is impacting not only the 550,000 young persons who are between the ages of 18 to 35, but definitely the entire country. It is impacting our future, because these young persons are going to definitely, integrate into their farming approaches and practices, climate smart techniques that will definitely position us as a people to have access to accessible food, to affordable food, and to safe food, as my colleague spoke about the NAMDEVCO GAP certified training that they are undergoing. This program also is addressing issues as land for youth, land for females, agricultural land, that is. It is addressing issues as we as a people aim to reduce our food import bill and reduce our dependency on foreign exchange in order to import the food that we require. Yes. It really addresses a multitude of issues. It impacts every single Trinidadian and Tobagonian, and we have Tobagonians in our program as well. I forgot to mention that at the beginning, but I'm saying to every single young person who has an interest, who has some sort of resource that they can offer, whether it be technical or even non-technical or economical, if that nature is required. I definitely welcome you all to contact us, reach out to us. We are definitely all ears in terms of making this program even better and even designing other programs to meet the needs of our country and the needs of our youth.
Nice. And that was a mouthful, a lot of information, worthy information to take in, valuable. I want to say, ladies, thank you so much for joining us this morning to speak about the Youth Agriculture Homestead Program. All the information you've provided there, persons can go on to the Ministry of Youth Development and National Services website, as well as on their social media, to keep up with all that is happening with the program, because you're seeing some images there. You saw a video that we played earlier. So I wish you all continued success with this program as you continue to massage the minds of our nation's youth moving forward. So thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much, Nikolai, and thank you to all your guests.
Thank you so much for having us here. Appreciate it.
So those two young ladies are Gaishel Guyx-Edwards, the project coordinator at the Ministry of Youth Development and National Service, and Kelly Silal Sanka, the technical agriculture coordinator at the Ministry of Youth Development and National Service. Folks, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to be talking about a summit that is happening. You want to hear more about it because it involves technology, and especially where the Caribbean, the islands of the Caribbean, what they are doing. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
The best birthday gifts are at thebesttoys.com. Shop for the best brands you love at the best prices. Like VTech, Leapfrog, Fisher-Price, Play-Doh, Hot Wheels, Barbie, Cocomelon, LOL, Baby Alive, Crayola. Visit us in-store at Forces Flagship MacBean. Shop online now at thebesttoys.com. Order via call or WhatsApp at 32DBEST to order. And remember, we have the best toys at the best prices.
Join me, Dr. Nalini Kokram, on What's Up Doc, where we discuss all your burning questions concerning health.
Trinidad and Tobago is among one of the highest risk group of patients that develop this form of genetic breast cancer.
What I'd like to take home from a short interview like this, screening. You must screen.
Because it's silent.
It's silent.
Yeah.
And because it's silent, you don't know it's there.
What's Up Doc, every Tuesday and Thursday on WESN, Content Capital.
FanZone, your reliable, authentic supplier, has just gotten better. You can now visit our website www.fanzonett.com for your authentic wear and collectibles. The only place where you can use both your Visa debit and credit cards. Visit our website fanzonett.com to make your purchase today.
The issue, the continued rise in the price of flour and its impact on the cost of living in Trinidad and Tobago. How should we go about it? I want to ask you what has been revealed to you about the state of vulnerability in the country because of this exercise and because of what we're going through. Is the government losing the war on the vaccine front?
The discussion should revolve around the common good for the greatest number of people in Trinidad and Tobago.
How do we inculcate a sense of respect and regard for people who may not be of your own political ilk or persuasion?
The communities are now being used by political opportunists. So
when the tables are turned, it's the same way. Okay, this has been 10 Questions. I'm Andy Johnson, and we'll see you next time.
You all have bombarded me on social media. You all have messaged on my phone. You all have constantly sent me text, emails, and so forth to invite this next guest.
It's the mother of all episodes. Join Sule Joseph as he chats with Dr. Winnet Joseph.
AKA my mother. AKA the grandchildren demander.
Don't miss this all-new episode of Sight, Thursday, 22nd June at 11 a.m. Only on WESN Content Capital.
Ridiculous.
As Kevin Hart would say, damn! Why we have so much minors out on the streets? There's an after-school program happening there.
Side women, don't give up. You know, you can become queen one day.
Those companies who are currently looking for their money that they deposited in the Silicon Valley Bank, it's not there. ChatGPT is basically the start of Terminator. Our relationship with the colonial powers is like a relationship
with a little bit of abuse that people like to stay in. And we remember how that was. Put in $100 and later tonight, you'll get back $3,000. I promise you. Or promise you not. Did you rent an accent while you were across there?
When you're in the proximity of Donald Trump, somehow you adopt his aura.
First of all, I thought the $200 would be more than enough. It's $200.
I was a goat farmer. I had 3 goats. Yeah, 3 goats and 1 cow. You know the name?
No, I don't.
Right, Messi, LeBron, and Cristiano Ronaldo. And the cow named Haaland.
I love Trinidad and Tobago, you know.
Every day, we communicate through stories. Stories of ourselves, our challenges, our goals, our experiences, and our aspirations. Storytelling is an art that we have mastered. WESN Film Studios comprises a collaborative team of experts with extensive industry experience locally, regionally, and internationally. The ability of your business to successfully communicate with your preferred audience depends on the strength of the stories you tell. Your vision should be communicated in a high-quality, professional, and creative way. From concept to post-production, advertising to film, multi-camera productions, live events, streaming, and virtual conferencing, we are WESN Film Studio. Let your own unique voice be heard and your vision realized. Call us today at 628-5835 for your next production.
More support is on the way for St. Lucia's banana and plantain farmers.
Welcome back, folks, to AM Prime. We're now going to jump over to regional news. Let's see what's happening across the region here in the Caribbean. We first take it to St. Lucia. The opening ceremony of the 53rd annual meeting of the Board of Governors of the Caribbean Development Bank took place on Tuesday, June 20th at the Sandals Grand Hotel. Now, the annual meeting brings together the bank's highest decision-making body to discuss key development challenges facing the region and innovative solutions. The theme of this year's meeting is marshalling finance for development, access to adequate and affordable financing. We have a video. Let's toss to it.
More support is on the way for St. Lucia's banana and plantain farmers, so says Agriculture Minister Alfred Prosper.
The cost of fertilizer has always been a problem, although our government provided 2 subsidies, one in September last year and one in January. They are still making a request for increased assistance or more support to enable them to increase their production. And we have submitted a memo to the Cabinet, and the Cabinet has embraced it. And very soon, we should be providing some more support to our farmers. But in this case, I want to mention it will not only be the banana farmers, we are also going to be providing that support to the plantain farmers, because the plantain farmers also play a very important role in terms of exports, but they too are also suffering as a result of the high cost of fertilizer.
Prosper says not only will the government of St. Lucia be attempting to offset the costly fertilizer prices, but additional support will be given to farmers to ensure healthy yields.
A new component of support, in this case, nematicide, because it does not make any sense providing the fertilizer, but at the same time, you are not treating the health or taking care of the health of the plant.
The root system.
And that is the root system. If the root system is not healthy, then the uptake of fertilizer will not take place. So I'm very excited, I'm very happy that this is happening. But really and truly also in livestock. We've done well in livestock, we did very well in chicken and pork, and also eggs. And that is very, very good for us as a country in terms of increasing our production to ensure that we are food secure.
According to the Agriculture Minister, the thrust towards increased production of fruits, vegetables and provisions is aimed at tackling St. Lucia's hefty annual food support bill.
Last year you saw the 4,000 bags of fertilizer that was given to the farmers, free of charge, the vegetable farmers. So that really helped increase production and really, really did well for the sector. My only concern, as I have always been saying, is that we must continue to make a big dent in reducing our food import bill. And I know St. Lucia stands ready and we are doing the best that is possible to make it happen.
Agriculture is a vital industry to St. Lucia, supporting all sectors of society by providing jobs, contributing towards food security and export earnings. Joachim Duplessis, HTS News 4.
Folks, that actually was a video from yesterday's program, so it was not really the video that we had intended to play. However, we're going to jump to another video. This time, let's go to Guyana, where we are expected to get some more news coming out of Guyana. Let's toss.
The professional hybrid nursing program, which will see nursing students learn through online and in-person classes, was officially launched on Monday at the Ministry of Health at Brickdam, Georgetown. The first batch of students by far exceeds the 200 to 300 persons who were previously facilitated for in-person classes. The hybrid program is the brainchild of the Minister of Health, Dr. Frank Anthony, to make access to quality learning faster and allows for more persons to enroll. According to Dr. Anthony, already more persons from across the Caribbean are showing interest in this program, which the ministry hopes to expand in the years to come.
We had said that we are cutting off at 1,000. But because 160 more met the eligibility requirement, we decided that we are bringing everybody on board. So we are not leaving anyone who met the eligibility criteria out. There are persons who outside of Guyana have expressed a desire to participate in the program. And that's something that we would like to facilitate, but we want to first make sure that we can get this up and running.
He reminded that a huge challenge in the Caribbean is the exodus of nurses who are migrating, and as such, Guyana hopes to lead the charge in offering this form of learning within the region. Prior to this hybrid approach, the students had to travel to stay at dormitories for their physical classes at the School of Nursing under the Ministry of Health's Health Sciences Education, HSE. Now they can study from home and be able to achieve the same level of training as if they were physically in classrooms. In revamping the program, lecturers were trained to use tools for online classes. The Deputy Director of HSE, Chandrawati Prasad, said Coursera was engaged for this program.
The clinical component of the training will be done in simulation labs and health facilities within each region. Students would have scheduled supervised visits to these facilities to have their practical sessions. One of the benefits of the hybrid approach is that students have the opportunity to study in the comfort of their own homes and to a great extent at a time convenient to them.
The Coursera platform, the Ministry of Health, Pan American Health Organization, PAHO, World Health Organization (WHO) and the University of Sao Paulo are collaborating to deliver the world-class training that will boost the nursing services here. The program will focus on ensuring that there is attendance and persons are retaining the information taught. This is to ensure that all the nurses are trained well at the end of the program. The nursing students who met the requirements for this sort of scholarship will undergo the 3-year program and then work for the ministry for 5 years. They will also receive a monthly stipend of $16,180. Through this program, the nurses are guaranteed a job with the ministry.
Once you finish the program, we are going to give you a job because we have enough job placements in the ministry where everybody is going to get a job. So I think it's a win-win for everybody. We are able to train you, give you this opportunity for training, and upon completion, each one of you will get a job.
Professor at the College of Nursing, University of Sao Paulo, Dr. Carla Ventura, and Director General at the Ministry of Health, Dr. Vishwa Mahadio, were among others at the launching ceremony. Reporting for the newsroom, I am Lizina Yearwood.
And that wraps up our regional news as we head into our 7 o'clock hour. Folks, we're going to take a break. When we come back on the other side, we still have a number of interviews that we're going to get through with this morning. Stay with us. You don't want to miss it. I'm Nikolai Edwards. We'll be right back.
Here is the WESN News on the Hour. I am Sarah Ali. Thanks for joining us. Here are the headlines. Met Office monitoring Tropical Storm Brett. Opposition leader claims many PNM members have shown interest in joining the UNC. Increase in minimum wage would strain SMEs, says Regional Business Chamber head. And regionally, St. Kitts passes law to allow marijuana smoking in public places. Now for the details. At 5 a.m. today, Wednesday 21st June 2023, Brett was located about 1,040 kilometers east of the Windward Islands, centered near 12.8 north, 51.4 west. The system is moving west near 26 kilometers per hour, and this general motion is expected over the next several days. Maximum sustained winds are near 95 kilometers per hour during the next day or so, and Brett is expected to be a tropical storm when it reaches the Lesser Antilles on Thursday 22nd June 2023. A tropical storm watch is currently in effect for Barbados, Dominica, Martinique, and St. Lucia. Opposition leader Kamla Persad-Bissassa claims many PNM members have also shown interest in joining the UNC. However, she said the UNC does not want any PNM rejects. Speaking at the UNC rally on Monday night at the Arangwes North Secondary School, Persad-Bissassa said all Judases will find their judgment day. Last week, former UNC Senator and Chief Economist at the Office of the Opposition Leader, Taharka Obika, joined the PNM. Before that, 3 UNC local councillors also switched sides to the PNM. She said the UNC will not pay no 30 pieces of silver to bring the PNM rejects. President of the Confederation of Regional Business Chambers, Vivek Charan, believes any increase in minimum wage will put a further strain on businesses. On Monday, during Labor Day celebrations, members of the trade union movement called for an increase in minimum wage from $17.50 to $30. However, while this would mean more money in the pockets for workers, Charan said the increase might put further strain on businesses, especially small and medium enterprises, and lead to an increased unemployment. Charan said he believed that one particular point in time after COVID, persons were feeling the brunt of inflation, external inflation, particularly food inflation, have been coming together with all the other rising costs. Regionally, St. Kitts and Nevis has moved one step closer to becoming one of the most marijuana-friendly places in the Caribbean, as parliamentarians approved 4 bills regarding its use and possession. During yesterday's National Assembly sitting, members of Parliament unanimously approved the Smoking Bill 2023, the Drugs Bill 2023, the Rastafari Rights Recognition Bill 2023, and the Freedom of Conscience Bill 2023. The Smoking Bill 2023, introduced in Parliament by Prime Minister Terence Drew, designates certain specified public places as smoking areas, prohibits smoking outside of a designated area in public places, better protects against exposure to certain types of smoke, and addresses related or incidental issues. Well, that's news to the hour on WESN. I am Sarah Ali. Thanks for watching.
Young at heart, purpose-driven, patriot even. When you like to party, but are still passionate about discussing important issues, the only place where your needs will be met is WESN Content Capital.
You all have bombarded me on social media. You all have messaged on my phone. You all have constantly sent me text, emails, and so forth to invite this next guest.
It's the mother of all episodes. Join Sule Joseph as he chats with Dr. Wynette Joseph,
AKA my mother, AKA the grandchildren demander.
Don't miss this all-new episode of Sight, Thursday 22nd June at 11 a.m. Only on WESN Content Capital.
Ridiculous.
Welcome back, folks. Now, the Progressive Empowerment Party is expected to take on all 141 electoral districts across Trinidad and Tobago in the upcoming local government election. However, they aren't expected to go it alone. This will be as a result of alliances forged between the party and other groups. One such group, the Reunited Farmers. And we have joining us this morning the chairman of the Progressive Empowerment Party, Felicia Holder, who is going to tell us a bit more about some of the plans and what exactly the PEP is offering to citizens and those who would be interested in coming and running under the umbrella of the PP, or at least those who are interested in voting for something different. Felicia, good morning and welcome to AM Prime.
Good morning, Nikolai. Thank you very much for having me on the program. Good morning to viewers and listeners.
Of course. Now, we are in the thick of things. It's an election season, and you know, in Trinidad and Tobago during election seasons, all kinds of things go haywire. But one of the things that we are noticing is that alternative parties, as I mentioned, as I usually refer to them, as opposed to smaller parties, are getting some media attention, are getting some traction, because it seems as though these larger parties are seeing the need to involve other voices. It's imperative that in order to win the election, you have to be able to consider some of those persons who don't traditionally vote or who don't feel the need to vote on a regular basis. In terms of PEP's position right now, because people would have wondered, is PEP or has PEP always been interested in forming alliances and so on? If you can just give us a bit of context so that we know that whether or not PEP has always been open to the idea, or it's just that now the time is ripe.
Well, I have to definitely say we have always been open to the idea of forming alliances with interest groups, with the alliance that we just formed with the Reunited Farmers. They were the byproduct of the ex-colony workers who have yet to receive their visa packages. So we marched with them last year. We have been responsive to several activist groups. TSTT came to us, we fought on their behalf. And we have over the years been reaching out through the public, saying that if you would like a better country, if you're fed up of the red and the yellow, because if you notice, we formed an alliance this local government election, but we did not form an alliance with any of the two political parties that we know of because we're not just looking for the same old, same old. If we wanted to do that, we would have just joined up and form a band and contest elections, as many have done in the past. But we're looking for longevity in this. We're looking for sustainability. We're looking for people who may not have been politicians in the start, but they want to get involved, just like the PEP, in fixing the country, in a better Trinidad and Tobago. So what you would find is we're not forming and aligning ourselves with political parties, but more so activist groups within the country. So we have the Reunited Farmers, they represent the ex-colony workers, we have the TST workers, and we keep reaching out to and encouraging these groups, especially disenchanted groups, to come forward and come join the Progressive Empowerment Party, because we are stronger together. We can, there's a third force I remember mentioning on an interview yesterday. There's a group of people who do not come out to vote at all, and you see them come out ever so often. They came out for the last CUP, UNCDPP Alliance. And I believe that we have the opportunity to bring them out again. They just need to see something that is viable. They need to see something that is strong. They need to see something that is going to, again, make a better life for everybody. That is all the PEP stands for, and we're willing to work with any groups that also share that vision.
Understood. Now, the PEP has obviously contested, this isn't the first election that the PEP is contesting. And I would imagine, and also know from experience, that with each election that you contest, you gain more and more experience, a lot more groundwork is done, and so on. What can you say may be different this time around in terms of the environment, in terms of people's willingness to come out and support, not only as a voter, but also, let's say, to run, to walk with the party and so on? Are you noticing anything different compared to, let's say, the last general election that we held, which would have been in 2020?
Definitely. I mean, right now I have an assistant. I need two, because I need somebody to sit down and go through my phone and respond to all of the people who are reaching out, who are saying they want to get involved in some way, whether they want to be candidates. I mean, up to this day, the PEP is still screening for candidates, because you think that you have your slate and there are more people coming forward. Some may have been better than the people that you screen. And of course, you want to put the best up, but it's amazing the response that we've been getting. I remember wondering at the start of the year if we would have done a local, and now it's literally around the corner. And I can't believe that we have literally established ourselves to the point that we have people coming to us trying to join the organization, people coming to us to volunteer on election day. And I mean, that's nearly 2 months away, but we still have that support. We have groups coming to us. I mean, the farmers approaching us after we would have worked with them in the past. That's a big deal. We have, I would say this rounds, the media seems to be a little bit more open to us. So a lot of things have changed, and that experience, like you said, definitely, I mean, if there's ever a reason to contest an election, it would be for that experience, because it's an entire process in itself that I think many people underestimate. But at this juncture, I think as the chairman of the party and as a former candidate, I think I'm pretty well versed in that electoral process.
Excellent. Now, obviously, one of the factors that in some cases determine the outcome of an election, but really determines whether or not parties are able to send up candidates, are able to contest an election at full scale and so on, has to do with resources. And I think as well, political parties, alternative ones, are held to a different standard compared to the main PNM and the UNC, in the sense that when you see new political parties come on the scene, there's a bunch of questions that are being asked of these parties that don't usually go toward the larger parties, and there is that expectation that you put out the same kind of input as these larger parties. What is, in terms of your strategy to attract resources, if you're willing to share, because there are persons who want change, but in order to get that change, you might have to put your money where your mouth is. So how are you all reaching out and getting persons to donate in kind, but also financially to the party?
Nicola, I feel like you're asking me my campaign strategy there. But I will divulge a little bit, because we are very open and transparent about where the funding of this organization comes from. And it's been the same for the past 6 years, literally, our members, our supporters, both local and foreign-based, they believe, just like us, in a better Trinidad and Tobago. And they believe that the Progressive Empowerment Party is the vehicle to take them towards a better Trinidad and Tobago. So we have our donors based internally in the party, based as just supporters and volunteers. Again, our overseas team, we have teams in Canada, we have teams in New York. We are re-establishing our team in Florida, in the UK. So we're building that support system of expats and the wider diaspora, people who would have left Trinidad and Tobago, whose navel strings are still buried here, because this is where a lot of them say, this is where I'm born, this is where I want to come and die, but many of them don't want to grow up die in a country that is as badly managed as Trinidad is right now, Trinidad and Tobago. So they are the ones who support us. I was mentioning again on an interview yesterday, I remember the Obama campaign specifically because of the way it was crowdfunded. I remember he would say, give me $10, give me $5, give me $50, give me whatever is in your pocket to help us fund this. And that is basically how we as a party have been doing it. I've been encouraging my candidates to go out to their, actually no, I don't want to get too deep into my strategies here, but it is our membership mainly who is funding and keeping us afloat. And thank you. I want to say thank you to that membership, because we could not have gotten this far without you. We appreciate you and all the support is needed for this one.
Excellent. Now, one of the things to really lay the groundwork for proper collection of donors and so on has to do with legislation. Now, in 2020, the Prime Minister had introduced the Representation of the People Amendment Bill, and it was supposed to deal with the whole issue of campaign financing, reforming the system, and in my respectful view, really leveling the playing field for all political entities. But we haven't been able to see that come into play. Without that being in play and just continuing in the environment in which we exist, how difficult do you see it being for alternative parties such as the PEP and others who are trying to make a dent, who have people within the party who can really bring about change and serious change, but they have to get over that first hurdle of getting funds, getting the media on their side, being able to reach every single corner of this country? How difficult is it for an entity such as the PEP to navigate in this kind of space?
I'm glad you mentioned the uneven playing field, because that is basically what we are in right now. You find that media stifles, unfortunately, the other parties that are trying to make a breakthrough. So it's been a process trying to break through to the public to get your message out. So it is difficult in some regard. I remember the last election, we would have purchased airtime only to be told, we would have booked airtime, only to be told another party paid some more money and was able to get that particular time slot. And I mean, this is the kind of unfair behaviors that we have to deal with. So the fact that, we don't have campaign finance in what would be the fourth election that the Progressive Empowerment Party is involving itself in is extremely sad. However, I do think that the hurdle is not as big as it would have been a couple of years ago.
Okay.
These parties are paying for a lot of airtime on media, etc. However, what I have found and what is becoming even more important is the ground game. I'm watching headlines of the PNM saying that, is it PNM or is it UNC? One of the parties saying that the others are coming, the other side is coming across to their side, whereas we have so many people right now trying to join a third party because they're just fed up of the two. Yes. And while we have the Progressive Empowerment here as a third option, we continue to beat the ground, we continue to listen on the ground, and I listen on the ground, and the ground is saying that they want neither, and you're watching the crumbling of one of those parties, you're watching how people are disinterested in the other party, and this is now the time is extremely right for a real third option that can capture the people's hearts, that can capture their votes to break through. Yes, money talks a lot, but we're in a political climate right now where things decide, the pendulum can swing on either side. And I think we're getting closer to the place where it's going to swing on the side of change.
Understood. And I mean, we could only, not only just hope, but we have to work towards it, obviously, to bring about that, because no kind of change comes around from people just sitting down wishing for it. Now, one of the questions that I know people usually have when it comes to alternative parties has to do with the idea of, well, if you don't get the majority, then what's the sense? So people aren't really in tune with the concept of at least get one person in. Let's at least have one individual in representing the party, and you start change like that. I want to find out, what is your message to those individuals who may be thinking it doesn't make sense casting their vote for an alternative party because essentially they will be stuck in the system, would not be able to bring about the change and so on?
Well, as it pertains to a local government election, I can understand why people think like that, because local governments, I mean, as the general man on the street right now, they're not even sure which election is approaching. They just know some election is happening. Many people don't even know the difference between local and a central government election. And on a local level in particular, a lot of people have grown disinterested. They think it doesn't work. And I would have to agree, the local government system as it is right now is set up to fail. However, despite that, and despite the fact that it has literally been failing us for year after year, the Progressive Empowerment Party, riding on the heels of our campaign slogan, Philip will fix it, our party slogan, Philip will fix it, we have been getting things done outside of office. So for those who are concerned about casting their vote and thinking that it's wasted, think about it as it is right now. You've been doing that for X amount of years for parties that have been unable to meet and match your expectations. We are not in office. We don't even have the power and the money and the resources that local and central government have. Yet we've been behaving and performing like we are the government. We are the people that people call when they have issues now, not the government. They call us. They call us because they know that they can't turn to the government. And they're not even bothering with the opposition, because if they can't fight for them in parliament, they're going to fight for them outside. The PEP, the Progressive Empowerment Party, with our new alliance, with our new partners, I believe that just like that year when the country was able to mobilize itself, and those voters, the stay-home voters, the swing voters who came out, I believe that given enough incentive, given a real choice, a real serious viable option, that they would cast their votes sensibly. I believe no vote is owned by any particular party, and that notion that I am PNM till I die, I am UNC till I die, I hope those people not still, well, let's hope that they're fizzling out. I mean, that's the best way to say it. But that mentality, I hope and I'm seeing it slowly happening with the ones who were PNM UNC till I died. But more particularly the younger crowd, the ones who are coming up, the ones who are looking into the future and seeing very little hope and opportunity, those are the ones that I'm counting on to be sensible. Yes, local government election. Yes, a local government itself, as it's set up, it's not really set up to work. But put a Progressive Empowerment Party councillor in office, put us in local government office, and you will see things work. We have a track record, it's proven. Give us the office, you would see even more results.
Understood. And talking about in terms of local government being able to perform within local government, I'm sure that the PEP has looked at the legislation that would have been introduced in Parliament and passed as part of that reform of local government. So we see in certain respects councillors being given more responsibility, being put as full-time and so on. So it is expected to give the effect of more productivity coming from local government. So let's say PEP is successful in capturing, let's say, one or several of these corporations across the country. What can persons expect in terms of, let's say, your agenda items to be able to get done while in office? What kind of governance can we expect from a PEP-led municipal corporation?
Performance and results. That's basically it, performance and results. I mentioned earlier about the resources. Yes, they would have reformed it a little bit, but they have not actually given local government, they haven't given councils the teeth, the bite that they need. We all know how local government is set up, and the Progressive Empowerment Party has an idea of how we would like to restructure the local government system to actually give these councillors who they've given an additional stipend and additional hours, but to actually give them direct access to the resources that they need, the paperwork, the red tape that you have to go to just fix a pothole in a community. This is the problem with local government. It has to go through all levels of approval. You have to wait on central government to release funds. It's why it doesn't work. But with or without those resources, like I say, with or without office, Progressive Empowerment Party has a track record for performance and results. One of my shadow MPs from Orokush East, she reminded me yesterday of the work that they did on Gardeno River. I remember they were able to go down there and fix and repair parts of the banks. This is a river that floods every rainy season. Outside of the rainy season, sometimes it destroys the homes around it, and they were able to go in there and fix it to the point that they were actually able to bring the opposition MP into the area because he's seeing that the PP reps are there doing his job, and they got involved. And that's what we will continue to do. We will continue to shadow the government. We will continue, if we get the opportunity to be inside, we will show them what it means to work. And I can say this with 100% surety because I know my work ethic. I know the work ethic of my political leader. I know the work ethic of my team. I know what we want. I know our vision. And I know the steps that we take to get there. I know that we're not people who say and accept things as they are. Yes, it may not work now, but we're not taking no for an answer. We got in this because we care about people, and our job as local government councillors, if not anything, is to care for and represent the people. So we will continue to advocate on their behalf. Now that we have office, speaking it into existence, of course, we could hope it's going to be easier, but where it's not, we're still going to show the people that we are working on their behalf and performing.
Understood. And my final question that I really wanted to jump into, in terms of local government is really approaching, and we have candidates are expected to, or prospective candidates are really expected to file nomination papers and so forth next week, the 26th, if I'm correct. That means we still have just a bit more time, a couple more days. Is it that over the next couple of days we're going to still see PEP screening candidates? Do you have a cutoff time by when are you all going to announce your candidates for the upcoming election? Just to give us a bit more of an understanding of where you are at right now, and especially for those individuals who might be very well interested in putting themselves up under PEP umbrella and wanting to know how much more time that they have to get involved.
Well, I want to say the cutoffs for screening would have been last week Saturday. However, because of the response, we still have people reaching out to us. I guess people are accepting their mantle and deciding to step up to the plate. We still have screening ongoing. So if you would like to be screened, you can reach out to Satish Ramsran. He's our party organizer. His number is 796-8172. Or you can reach out to me, Felicia Hole. I'm the chairman. My number is 769-4590. We are accommodating screening still. I mean, outside of the councils, most of which we have chosen and settled on already, there are other positions like aldermen, and even if you're not in local government itself, we are constantly, as a party, inside, outside of an election season, we are constantly screening for candidates. A lot of the local government candidates who came to us, we actually found would be better as general election candidates. So we had to put them on a back burner. But it's an ongoing process. We advertised when we did our relaunch, rededication of our office space back in January. We said that we are officially in election mode, and we've been preparing for an election since then, and we've been preparing not just for local, but for general as well. So we will continue to screen. We will continue, please continue to show your interest, because whether you're selected now or for future purposes, we want you involved. The more people coming on board, getting involved in this, the faster we can build.
Excellent. And well, folks, if you're looking on right now, you want to find out more about the Progressive Empowerment Party, you can check out their social media and also their website, pepttmedia.com. Of course, there you can find out more information, you can donate, you can join, and give support to an alternative party who is seeking to help bring about change in Trinidad and Tobago. Felicia, thank you so much for joining me this morning and sharing information. Any final thoughts?
I just want to react to it's peptt.com, not media. peptt.com, that's our website. Any final thoughts? Yes, I am encouraging Trinbagonians to really think about the power of your vote. I think we have, for too many years, been told that our vote belongs to somebody or our vote doesn't count, whereas it's quite the opposite. And if you only understood how powerful your vote is, how important your vote is, you would mobilize yourselves towards change. And I understand that in the past we have not had credible options that you think could bring about that change. But for those who are not familiar with the Progressive Empowerment Party, for those of you who are familiar with the Progressive Empowerment Party, you would know that change and a better Trinidad and Tobago is what we are all about. And if you follow us, you would see that we have a proven track record that we will continue to build on. So this election, this local government election, I understand that you may not pay attention to it, but this is literally a referendum in our country right now. And I want you to take it as serious, because those two established parties, the red and the yellow, they're looking on to see what's happening. And I think it's time we send them a strong message that we as a people are dissatisfied. We want neither of you, and we are pursuing new political options for a better Trinidad and Tobago. Your opportunity for that is now.
Thank you so much, Felicia, for joining me this morning and sharing more information about the PEP.
You're most welcome.
And that was Felicia Holder, the chairman of the Progressive Empowerment Party, talking about local government elections 2023. And just in case you aren't aware, local government elections will be held on August 14th. That's just under 2 months from now. So my advice to you, get as much information as possible from every single political party that exists, every candidate that is offering up him or herself. Ensure that your name is on the list of electors. You can visit the Elections and Boundaries Commission and go out and vote. Vote. I'm obviously not telling you who to vote for, but it is important that you cast your vote and send that message, whether it is to elect someone, to send a message that you are not interested, or so on. Your vote is very powerful. Folks, that's how I'm going to leave it here for you. It's the day before Friday. Yeah, it's Tuesday, so of course I'm looking forward to tomorrow, and I hope you are as well. So feel free to join me 6 a.m. here on WESN for more AM Prime. I'm Nikolai Edwards. Have a productive day.
WESN.
Is it politics? What is it? Is it that nobody cares about sports?
The kind of support that sport used to get in the past is no longer here.
The thing is, taking a knee doesn't mean that that's the only thing you're doing now, Andy.
Right.
Taking a knee along with other stuff.
Samantha, what are you looking forward to when you return home to Trinidad and Tobago after winning the title?
Thank you very much for speaking it into existence.
Is it no pressure on Nicholas Ball?
It makes me more motivated to work hard and to go out there and rep the red, white and black.
Why are we sending a team to the Winter Olympics?
There are a number of Trinbagonians who are in the diaspora and have grown up in winter sport. It's an opportunity that the Trinidad and Tobago Olympic Committee will not close the door on.
I also believe in the players that we have. Once you can motivate the players, you can get the best out of them.
As Kevin Hart would say, damn! Why we have so much minors out on the streets? There's an after-school program happening there. Side women, don't give up. You know, you can become queen one day. Those companies who are currently looking for their money that they deposited in the Silicon Valley Bank, it's not there. ChatGPT is basically the start of Terminator. Our relationship with the colonial powers is like a relationship with a little bit of abuse that people like to stay in. And we remember how that was. Put in $100 and later tonight, you'll get back 3,000. I promise you, or promise you not. Did you rent an accent while you were across there?
When you're in the proximity of Donald Trump, somehow you adopt his aura.
First of all, I thought the $200 would be more than enough. It's $200.
As a goat farmer, I had 3 goats. Yeah, 3 goats and 1 cow. You know the name?
No, I don't.
Right, Messi, LeBron, and Cristiano Ronaldo. And the cow name Haaland.
I love Trinidad and Tobago, you know.
You all have bombarded me on social media. You all have messaged on my phone. You all have constantly sent me text, emails, and so forth to invite this next guest.
It's the mother of all episodes. Join Sule Joseph as he chats with Dr. Winnet Joseph.
AKA my mother. AKA the grandchildren demander.
Don't miss this all-new episode of Sight, Thursday 22nd June at 11 a.m. Only on WESN Content Capital.
Ridiculous.
Young at heart, purpose-driven, patriot even. When you like to party, but are still passionate about discussing important issues, the only place where your needs will be met is WESN Content Capital.
And these noises have been increasing as more ships come into the area. So what the fleet needs to do is they need to pause all maintenance. Just because today we scheduled changing an oil filter on a pump, I would hold off on doing anything like that, anything that can make noise. We shut down as much equipment as possible because we don't want those ships that are sitting on top of the wreck site making noise that then distracts the searchers, and then we send a ROV over to investigate what turns out to be something that was done on the surface.
We've heard from other previous customers of this deep sea diving company saying that going on Titan was akin to being on a kamikaze operation. With your background, with your career, would you have been someone that would be willing to go on Titan?
I would not sign up for that. And they talk about, hey, it's controlled by a game controller, and I think he points to the lights and he says, oh, we got these at Camper World. So I'm not super concerned by those kind of things. We use what we call COTS, commercial off-the-shelf technology, in military applications. I'd be more worried about what kind of testing is being done on that carbon fiber hull. That's an unusual new material to be using for a deep submersible. The end bells, that big window in front. And then operationally, for example, there's several ways for this to come back up to the surface. They talk about dropping weights, detaching the legs. I'd be asking, well, how often do we actually detach the legs and test it? It's one thing to design it and put in a lever. It's another thing to say every 30 days, pull the lever and have the legs drop off and make sure everything works.
Now, real quickly, is it alarmist to question the private industry's pursuit of extreme tourism like this, like in deep sea or space exploration?
I don't think it's alarmist, but we're going to have humans, all of us are better off because we have humans who are willing to push the envelope. And it's with any innovation, sometimes the innovations go beyond the regulations and what we're normally used to, and we don't really know exactly the boundaries until we go past them. So I appreciate their entrepreneurial and innovative spirit, and I'm sad for what happened. The CEO of the company is on the submarine, so he believes that their equipment was solid.
Well, let's hope his belief bears out. David, thank you very much for speaking to us. David Marquet, retired U.S. Navy submarine captain. Israeli troops demolished the home of a Palestinian who was suspected of killing an Israeli soldier last year. The demolition coming during a week of rising tension. There was a rare helicopter raid on Wednesday. Hundreds of Israeli settlers stormed into a Palestinian town, and then there was a drone strike. The latter, Israel claimed that the targets had been responsible for a number of shootings on Jewish settlements, and it marks a new escalation of attacks in the occupied West Bank. Take a look.
It's believed to be the first drone strike in the area in nearly 20 years. It happened close to the shop in Jenin in the occupied West Bank. The Israeli army said it had targeted a car carrying suspected Palestinian gunmen. Palestinian media said 3 people were killed. Tensions have been running high this week. Earlier on Wednesday, hundreds of mourners attended the funeral of an Israeli teenager. The 17-year-old was killed a day earlier along with 3 other Israelis in an attack carried out near the Jewish settlement Eli by members of the militant group Hamas. Hamas says that the attack was a response to an Israeli raid on a refugee camp in Jenin, which killed 7 Palestinians.